When you're injured in a car wreck, you need razor-sharp claws and 1,000 pounds of legal muscle on your side. You need Law Bear Auto Accident Attorneys. Hurry to lawbear.com. That's lawbear.com. The bear has your back.
Hey, it's Phil Shaver with HomeSmart, and I want to buy your house. I'm a local investor that buys homes for cash all over Maricopa and Pinell County. I buy inherited homes, nice homes, rental homes, homes that are behind on mortgage payments, and I even buy ugly homes that need fixing. Also, are you looking to get closer to market value for your house? As a licensed realtor, I've been able to buy and sell thousands of homes. Since I'm local, you can call me directly on my cell phone, 480-409-9999. Again, that's 480-409-9999. I don't work for a big corporation or hedge fund, so I can only buy 3 to 5 homes per month. There are no fees involved, and you can pick your own close date. The best part is I buy homes as is, so you don't have to worry about doing any repairs. Again, you can call me directly at 480-409-9999, or you can go to my website, gosoldaz.com. That's gosoldaz.com.
Casino Arizona and Talking Stick Resort are two of Scottsdale's most iconic entertainment destinations, elevated by one premier loyalty experience, Salt River Rewards. Earn points on gaming, dining, and purchases. Then redeem for free play, cash, or exclusive savings on dining, spa treatments, and hotel stays with breathtaking valley views. Join today and get up to $25 in free play. Salt River Rewards at Casino Arizona and Talking Stick Resort. Must be 21 or older. Problem gambling? Call 1-800-NEXT STEP.
And we're live from the living room as Doug eyes up the matchday spread. He's reaching for the Buffalo wing. Perfect. Hang on, what's this? Oh, he's gone for a can of Pepsi too. Incredible. What a finish. Sensational combination. Look at the delight on his face. There's no doubt about it. It just tastes better. Match days deserve Pepsi. Food deserves Pepsi. Grab a pack of Pepsi Zero Sugar for today's match. It's poetry in motion.
All new drinks are now at McDonald's. Like the strawberry watermelon refresher, the mango pineapple refresher with popping boba, and the Sprite berry blast topped with cold foam. Who knew ice cold drinks could be so fire? Get free medium fries with your purchase of a medium McCafe refresher or crafted soda, only in the app. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Refreshers contain caffeine. Offer valid through 7/19/26 at participating McDonald's. Valid once a week. Must opt into rewards.
The KDUS AM 1060 app is brought to you by Law Bear Auto Accident Attorneys. Hurry to lawbear.com.
That's lawbear.com. The bear has your back.
It's the lunch break.
That's right, we made it to a Friday here on the show. It is the lunch break. KDUS AM 1060, streaming on the free KDUS AM 1060 app, and you can watch us on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream. Chris Schubert with you here today on the show. We made it to a weekend, 2 hours until the weekend, and we are going to get you ready for what is a jam-packed weekend for the Arizona Diamondbacks and could be the difference between them being a buyer or a seller at the deadline. And I want to take a bit of a different approach today to our ongoing conversation about the Diamondbacks and their potential moves at the deadline. I want to make the bullish case for them in this wild card race, but I also want to give you the bearish case as to how this could fall apart. And I want to focus on the teams around them and where they stand amongst those teams. So we're going to do that here today on the show. We'll give out our weekend winners in hour number 2 of the program. I got a lot of those trying to get back into the win column there, so we'll do that in hour number 2 of the show. Final Summer League thoughts for the Phoenix Suns, but we are going to start with the Diamondbacks, and we're going to start with one person in particular, because tonight feels like a very important start for Merrill Kelly.
Time for our top story of the day. It's the Daily Special.
The Diamondbacks start a 3-game series tonight against the St. Louis Cardinals, one of their direct competitors in this wild card race. If you've been listening to the show at all this week, you will know we have called this the most important series thus far for this team. The most important series that they have played at any point this season is this upcoming 3 games against the Cardinals, because they are riding a ton of momentum. Despite having a couple of days off, this team starts play tonight on a 4-game winning streak, fresh off of a series sweep of the Los Angeles Dodgers. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that, right? You're on a winning streak and you just swept the 2-time defending champions in the Los Angeles Dodgers. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. You can't be feeling any better than this Diamondbacks team should be feeling going into this series tonight. And for at least 3 days, for at least this weekend, you control your destiny a little bit. You can directly determine whether or not you're going to pass the Cardinals in the standings because you're playing them for 3 this weekend. So that puts a lot of pressure on the starter tonight for this Diamondbacks team. Because Merrill Kelly's going to get the start in the opener. He's had a great July thus far, pitching to a 2.25 ERA in the month of July, bouncing back from an awful month of June, and that's really been the story of his season. Good month, bad month, good month, bad month, or bad month, good month, bad month, good month, however you want to look at it. May and July have been his best months to date, but he is fresh off of 2 of his better starts of the season. 7 innings of 1-run ball against the Padres last Thursday. 5 innings of just 2 runs against the Brewers. 2 of his better starts. He's earned wins in each of his last 2 outings. And the Diamondbacks need him in a big way tonight. They need him to set the tone for the weekend. They need the guy who has been the model of consistency. He's the guy that you want starting a game 1 of a playoff series, right? I know we've been through a lot with Merrill Kelly this season, but back yourself up to spring training. If I asked you to pick anybody in the Diamondbacks rotation before Eduardo Rodriguez had the breakout that he's had, before Zach Gallen, the wheels fell off the way they've fallen off for him. If I asked you to pick one person to pitch a gotta-have-it game, a must-win game for the Diamondbacks over the course of the 2026 season, you would answer Merrill Kelly. Actually, the easiest question that you could be asked about this Diamondbacks team. Why would the answer be Merrill Kelly? Because he's been so consistent. You know you're going to get 6 innings of quality baseball. He's going to give you a chance to win. And while the season has unfolded in a different way for Merrill Kelly, and while maybe he isn't the answer to the question now, I think the answer would very obviously be Eduardo Rodriguez if you were re-asked the question today. You still need Merrill Kelly to deliver in games like the one he is starting tonight. You need Merrill Kelly to deliver outings that keep you in this race. So while Erod would be the answer today, you need Merrill Kelly tonight. You need him to capitalize on his recent string of quality outings. You need him to be the pitcher that he's been in July, the pitcher that he was in May. In May, a great start against the Mets, followed that up with a complete game against the Rockies. Had 4 starts in a row where he delivered quality outings. In 3 of those 4 starts, he went 7+ innings. I mean, that's the type of form you're looking for from Merrill Kelly tonight. And it's so important to set the tone in this series, right? Because let's just put it out there for everybody. You just swept the Dodgers. You're 5-2 in your last 7. You're playing decent baseball. We're not sure if you're going to be a buyer or a seller at the deadline. A lot of us still on the fence of what we think you should do on August 3rd or in the days leading up to August 3rd. You have a chance this weekend to make a statement against a team that is your direct competition in this race. You got to come out playing your best baseball. You've got to come out the first game after the All-Star break, continuing the way that you played last weekend against the Dodgers, to say that wasn't a fluke. We didn't accidentally stumble into a series sweep of the Dodgers. We are a team that is in this race. We are a team that you need to pay attention to. We are a team that you should not forget about. The way you do that is you make a statement in game one. You win tonight, and you set yourself up for 2 chances over the weekend to win this series and potentially sweep the Cardinals. That's a statement. That's following up what you did last weekend. Again, winning this series is the bar. It's hard to sweep series. I know they just did it against the Dodgers. It's really hard in this sport to win 3 days in a row. Everything's got to be going right. But you have a ton of momentum on your side. You've got a lot of people feeling good about you as a team right now after what you did last weekend. Don't ruin it right away, right? Don't let the air out of the balloon immediately tonight against this Cardinals team. Make a statement. Go out there and have Merrill Kelly deliver a gem. Have this offense step up and score early and often for him. And make a statement to the Cardinals in game one of this series of, yeah, don't forget about us. Just because we're behind you in the standings doesn't mean you can ignore us. You win tonight, it's 5 in a row. You win tonight, it's 6-2 in your last 8. And all of a sudden, it starts to become a little bit of a different sample to evaluate this team off of. All of a sudden, it's a decent enough stretch for you to say, okay, let's ride this out a little bit. Let's ride the wave. That all starts with the guy on the mound tonight who can throw it back to the guy he's been in seasons past for this organization, to the guy who at times this year has been exactly what the Diamondbacks need. And let's face it, we know what Erod's going to be. What have we said about this team? We're worried about the pitching. So they need Merrill Kelly. Tonight, his next start, every start he makes the rest of the way, they're going to need Merrill Kelly. So if Merrill Kelly can't deliver for you tonight, that's probably all the signs you need that this team isn't going to be a buyer at the deadline and they should still be a seller, right? If you can't get quality from Merrill Kelly, you just don't have enough guys. And I know that's putting a lot of pressure on Merrill, but I think that's what it requires because you look around the rest of that rotation, you don't have other guys that you believe in that have the history, that have the track record, that have the back of the baseball card statistics that Merrill Kelly does that make you think he can be the guy. We can have a good 1-2 punch of Erod and Merrill Kelly that's going to give us a decent chance when those two guys are on the mound. So, yeah, you're going to look to Merrill because he's been that guy in the past. He's been that guy at times this season. And fortunately or unfortunately, however you want to look at it, he's going to need to be that guy the rest of July and August and September. There's not a lot of games left on the calendar. Every one of these Merrill Kelly starts is basically a gotta-have-it game. I don't want to call it a must-win, but it's pretty darn close. Now, our guy Code over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube channel says, I'm not on the fence. I am on the sell side. It's up to the Diamondbacks to bring me onto the top of the fence or onto the buy side of it in the next week. That's fair. That is a fair position to have. And that's why this series, that's why this week we've spent so much airtime telling you this series is so important. This is the series that's going to win people like Code over. I also think it's the type of series that's going to win over maybe some parts of the front office that aren't really sure buying's the right strategy right now. Because if you have a well-put-together front office, you're not all unified in what you think this team should do right now. You have dissenting opinions. You have conflicting opinions. You have people that are on both sides of the fence, and you're going to let the games dictate where you go, but you have people that are presenting both cases. At least to me, that's how I would build a front office. I don't want everybody that is surrounding me, if I'm Mike Kazin, to just tell me what I want to hear. I don't want, if I was Mike Kazin, to have a bunch of people that don't have differing opinions than me. Just because they have a differing opinion doesn't mean they disagree or hate me or don't like the job that I'm doing. They're offering an alternative opinion that is valuable in coming to the right decision as an organization. So I would hope that there are people in downtown Phoenix at Chase Field in those offices that are still on the fence the way Code is. And that's what the Diamondbacks have to do tonight and this weekend. They have to convince those people. They have to convince the Codes of the world. They have to convince me a little bit. I'm not sure yet where I stand with this team. But it's a lot easier to come in here on Monday and talk about a team that won a series against the Cardinals, that swept against the Dodgers, that is closer and closer to that third and final playoff spot. If they end this weekend a game and a half, a game out of a playoff spot, I mean, it's going to be a lot easier to say you can't sell. It's going to be a lot easier to say, okay, where should they buy? The one conversation that we haven't had this week, because I don't think I'm ready to have it, is what players can they go out there and target? We've told you the players that they might move at the deadline, but we haven't really discussed where they might be able to go out and acquire a starter or two, to go out and acquire that bat. We haven't had that conversation because I don't know if we're ready to have that conversation. This team is still just 2 games above 500. This team still has a bunch of teams to pass in the wild card race. They have to drag us to that conversation, and that's a good thing. If they do, credit to them. That means they did their job. That means they're playing their best baseball. That means they've earned it. Because, again, look at who they would have played the last 3 series. Split against the Padres. Would have liked a series win, but a split, you came out of it unscathed. You go into L.A., you sweep the Dodgers. You take 2 out of 3 against the Cardinals. If you start winning these series when you play the Pirates, when you play the Nationals, when you play the Cardinals, when you beat the teams that are your direct competition, it starts to breed belief again. It starts to make you think that, hey, they're not getting by beating the Giants and the Rockies and the Mets and the bottom feeder teams, the Royals, right? They're not beating up on those teams. They're playing quality caliber competition. That by beating them, the belief is there that this team might actually be a playoff caliber team. Now, whether or not they get there is totally different, but the thing they have to determine between now and August 3rd, is this a playoff caliber roster that is worth investing into? The only way you answer that is by winning this series over the weekend against the Cardinals, by winning series against the Pirates, winning series against the Nationals. You can answer the question. You can make it very clear. You can definitively put yourself in one camp or the other. And that's why I think there's a ton of pressure on Merrill Kelly. That's why I think this is the most important start he's had of the season. And I think, in a weird way, perfect guy to have on the mound tonight. Because the pressure that I just described to all of you, the pressure that you probably think exists for this team, there's going to be one guy who isn't going to feel that pressure. It's the guy on the mound tonight. It's the guy taking the ball to start the second half of the season. He's not going to feel that pressure. That lunch pail mentality that we talk about with Merrill Kelly is perfect for this moment. Perfect for this opportunity tonight. So you almost have the perfect guy on the mound to answer the bell, to answer the call for this team in this moment to get this second half started right. He's got to go out there and do it, though. Because if not, then you're chasing it all weekend long. You're then chasing 2 in a row. So a lot of pressure on Merrill Kelly. I think he's up for the task. I think you're going to need him down the stretch, so you need to see it tonight. Because if you don't have Merrill Kelly, what do you have after Eduardo Rodriguez? So a really big series, but also a really big start tonight for Merrill Kelly. Because he's been pitching well. If he can continue to pitch the way he's pitched in July, that's going to be perfect for this team. It's going to be exactly what they need. And it's going to set them up for this weekend, and it's going to set them up for the second half. 480-864-1060 is the phone number for you to join us here today on the program. We've also got you over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream. Would love to hear from you all show long about the Diamondbacks this series coming up here against the Cardinals starting tonight. When we come back, with all of this negativity around Jacoby Brissett, is he now underrated? That's next, the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060.
The Dan Patrick Show.
Home Run Derby was fun last night, and I don't know if the NBA will pick up on this. The winner got $1 million last night. That's more than Jordan Walker makes this year. I think he makes $790. Slam dunk contest. The winner, $105,000. If you're the NBA and you say, we're going to put out $1 million for the slam dunk contest, you're going to get some players that you've heard of. Because as it is now, this is a meaningless moment. But man, I'd up the ante just a little bit.
Weekdays, 6 to 9 a.m.
I'm Ultima Morgan. Morgan & Morgan isn't just an injury firm. It's our family's life work. It's my husband, it's my sons, it's me. When we take a case, we see a family just like ours. $30 billion recovered is something I'm proud of. But what I'm really proud of are the families we stood beside. It's an honor to fight for you when you need our support the most. Morgan & Morgan, for the people and your family.
Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com. Arizona lawyer will handle Arizona cases. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
Somber presents You Are the Reason Tour. Fresh from selling out shows all around the world. See Somber live in Glendale. Desert Diamond Arena, October 14th, with special guests Tom Odell and The Help. Get tickets now at sombermusic.com.
Winning once, that's a good season. But building a streak, that takes showing up. Every call, every claim, every day. AAA Auto Insurance is ranked #1 for auto insurance customer satisfaction in the Southwest by J.D. Power, 2 years in a row. And we don't take this repeat for granted, because trust isn't a given, it's earned. Join the millions of satisfied drivers who choose AAA Auto Insurance. Get a quote at AAA.com/quote. For J.D. Power 2025 award information, visit JDPower.com/awards.
During the Kia Summer Sticker Sales Event at Mark Kia, receive 0% APR for up to 72 months on the 2025 Kia EV6, plus $3,500 dealer bonus cash.
The name to remember, Mark Kia, Mark Kia.
For 25 years, Primavera has helped thousands of Arizona students succeed with an accredited world-class education, tuition-free and from home. Don't wait. Enroll today at ChoosePrimavera.com. That's ChoosePrimavera.com.
Jim Rome here with your Rome Report. ESPN is reporting that the NBA will not punish Bam Adebayo for punching Tyler Hero in a Las Vegas gym last Friday. Hilarious. Punish him. They should thank him. They should create an award and name it after him. The Bam Adebayo NBA Man of the Year Award. Punish him. Him punching Tyler Hero in the face in a Las Vegas gym after Hero cracked him to some rando on social was far and away the best thing that has happened this NBA offseason. Shoot, I would argue it was better than anything that happened during the entire NBA regular season. And had it not been the Knicks that won it all, I would have even called it the single best thing that happened in the entire last calendar year in the association. Punish him. Powder should rip the MVP award from SGA and walk it right over to Bam right now. Punish him. The league loves it as much as the rest of us do. I'm Jim Rome. And remember, you can always follow me on Instagram at Jim Rome.
O'Reilly.
Help increase your vehicle's performance with Lucas Fuel Treatment at O'Reilly Auto Parts. A clean fuel system can increase performance and fuel economy. Simply add it to your tank at your next fill-up to eliminate carbon and varnish deposits. Get 2 bottles of Lucas Fuel Treatment for just $9, plus 2 times points at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The Jim Rome Show.
Conor McGregor v. Max Holloway. The quote, fight was over before it even started, with McGregor seemingly shredding his knee after running out and attempting to throw a single ill-advised kick. Maybe he knew he couldn't last with Max Holloway. Maybe he was looking to end it as spectacularly as possible. I don't know.
The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday, here on KDUS AM 1060.
Back here on the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060. Chris Schubert with you. Producer Evan will be back with us on Monday, so it'll be a full show for you. We still have weekend winners in hour number 2. I'll get those from producer Evan to see who he has for the weekend. And next week, we'll be getting you ready for training camp, and we'll have plenty of storylines to cover and keep an eye on and have opinions about next week when Cardinals training camp gets underway. I do think that the big story will continue to be, until there's a dramatic change in what we're hearing about it, it will be Jacoby Brissett. And while I think all of this is foolish, I think all of this is absurd, that we're still having this conversation. I do think it has opened the door for people to kind of clown on Jacoby Brissett in a way that I'm not sure I necessarily agree with. A lot made of Jacoby Brissett looking for a raise despite being a quarterback that went 1-11 last season, despite being a quarterback that it is so obvious to anybody who understands the game of football that Jacoby Brissett is not a long-term option for the Arizona Cardinals. And so there's kind of been some dunking on Jacoby Brissett that has occurred. And I don't know if that factored in to all of this, but Sports Illustrated put out their 2026 preseason QB rankings, ranking all 32 starting quarterbacks in the NFL. And they had Jacoby Brissett ranked 31st. The only quarterback that they viewed him better than was Shedeur Sanders. They had Bryce Young in front of him at 30. They had Geno Smith at 29, Malik Willis at 28, Michael Penix Jr. at 27, Fernando Mendoza at 26. Fernando Mendoza hasn't taken a snap in the league. They say he's 5 spots better than Jacoby Brissett. Here's what the SI Story had to say about Brissett. Quote, somehow, Brissett holding out this offseason for more money was a real thing despite his 1-11 record in 2025. While Brissett has some decent top-line numbers for the miserable 3-win Cardinals last year with 23 touchdowns and 8 interceptions, he also posted a negative 24.3 EPA, ranking 26th in the league, end quote. Then they go on to talk about how the situation could potentially allow Brissett to be better with McBride and Marv and Michael Wilson and Jeremiah Love and Tyler Algier and Mike LaFleur, all the things that we've been talking about all offseason long. Are we underrating what Jacoby Brissett is? Now, I'm not here to tell you that I think Jacoby Brissett is a top 15 quarterback in the NFL, a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. I'm not here, and I'm not doing this segment to try to convince you of that. But do we think Jacoby Brissett was the reason the Cardinals only won 3 games last year? Do we think he was the reason why they lost every game after beating the Cowboys down the stretch? Do we think Jacoby Brissett is the reason the defense gave up 30-plus points, 40-plus points towards the back part of the season last year? I think somewhere in the middle lies the truth, right? Do I think Jacoby Brissett is the second worst starting quarterback in the NFL? No, I do not. I would take Jacoby Brissett over Shedeur Sanders. I would take Jacoby Brissett over Geno Smith right now, but especially after the year that Geno had last year. I would take him over Michael Penix. I would take him over Mendoza, at least at the beginning of the season. And they got Kyler Murray 21st on this list. So I think we're being a little unfair in how we are presenting what Jacoby Brissett did last season. Is he the best quarterback in the league? No. But is he the second worst? That feels kind of hard to believe. Because as they pointed out, he actually had some pretty decent numbers with the 23 touchdowns and only the 8 picks. And that was with an offensive system that, let's face it, wasn't that great last year. Did you love Drew Petzing's play calls? Did you love the way he set up the offense? Do you feel like he put Jacoby Brissett and the entire offense in a position to succeed? Is that how you feel after the end of the season? And so, yeah, sure, Mike LaFleur may be doing a lot of the heavy lifting here, but I don't think Jacoby Brissett is the second worst starting quarterback in the NFL. I think he's somewhere in the mid-20s, maybe low teens, if everything's working right for him. I think that's where he maxes out as a quarterback, and I think that's perfectly fine for this team. But I think him asking for a raise and this dragging on and on and on and him being a holdout when they went 1-11 last year has just opened the door for everybody to kind of forget just the base level of play that Jacoby Brissett can provide in offense. Now, again, the Cardinals, Jacoby Brissett, everyone's kind of invited this on themselves because we're still talking about him potentially being a hold-in next week when training camp gets underway. And this is part of the reason why I just hate that we're having this conversation, because it's not allowing us to focus on some of the real positive things that exist with this team right now. You don't need me to list them again. I've done this plenty of times in the past where I've listed all of the things that you can be positive about for this franchise going into training camp, yet you can't because you're not sure who's going to start at quarterback for this team. You have a major question that needs to be answered at the beginning of training camp of who's actually going to be on the field playing quarterback for you. That kind of jumps the line, right? That kind of it sucks up all the oxygen in the room. It's front and center. The ego of that question kind of puts everything else in the corner. It overshadows everything else. It's hard to get excited about Mike LaFleur when I don't know who his quarterback's going to be. It's hard to get excited about Trey McBride and Marv and Michael Wilson and everything that is positive about this offense when is Gardner Minshew going to be the starting quarterback? Is Carson Beck actually going to have a chance to win this job? Is this Jacoby Brissett hold-in going to actually bleed over into preseason and preseason games and bump up against the start of the regular season? Are we really actually going to do this as an organization? Is that really the place we're going to find ourselves? It just takes up so much oxygen in the room. You can't think about discussing the position battle at right guard that I'm actually fascinated by. You can't even discuss the corner room, the pass rush, the continued development of Walter Nolan and Darius Robinson. I can't even begin. I don't want to talk about any of that until I know, is Jacoby Brissett actually going to be a participant next week? Is Jacoby Brissett actually going to work with the ones and be a full participant in camp? Or, just like he was in mandatory minicamp, is he going to be there, but he's going to be on the side? Because I don't think the Cardinals want that to be the narrative all training camp long. At least they shouldn't want it to be the storyline all training camp long. It would kind of be unacceptable. It would take away. You hire Mike LaFleur, and that in and of itself created some buzz, and I think some positive buzz. Say what you will about the number 3 overall pick, but Jeremiah Love creates buzz, creates excitement, creates something worth paying attention to for the Arizona Cardinals. All of that buzz, all of that excitement gets zapped away the moment you allow the quarterback and his absence or non-participation to be front and center and to be the talking point, the storyline going into the Hall of Fame game, going into training camp, going into the preseason games. You just take away all the sting of a new hire that people are excited about, a flashy first-round pick that should have excitement and buzz around it. That all kind of just goes to the background. And I hate that for the team. I hate that for the players. I hate that for LaFleur. I hate it for the fans. I hate it for you. I hate it. This should not be what we are talking about, yet we are. And I'll update you. We're 5 days away from figuring out what's real and what's not when it comes to all of this. 480-864-1060, the phone number for you to join us here today on the program. We've also got you over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream where we're chatting away over there. When we come back, they sat all the stars, so let's wrap up NBA Summer League and give you our final thoughts on the Suns' participation up in Vegas. We'll do it next. The lunch break, KDUS AM 1060.
Ready to tackle each morning with the best sports information coming at you?
I'm going to take a logical approach.
Get that weekday mornings on KDUS AM 1060 from 6 to 9 a.m. with the Dan Patrick Show. Dan Patrick, the Danettes, sports icons, sports legends, celebrities, poll questions. The Dan Patrick Show has it all.
It's a crapshoot.
Be sure to lock your dials to AM 1060 or 100.7 HD2 from 6 to 9 a.m. Mornings just got better.
This story is about us.
Let's be honest, most money talk is boring.
Or worse, terrifying.
That's why we built the Stacky Benjamin Show, the personal finance show that's full of good times, great laughs, and big lessons.
We help you reach your goals faster with real experts with zero judgment. And yes, we record from a basement.
Whether you're paying off debt, building wealth, or just trying to stop hemorrhaging money at the grocery store,
we got you.
Find the Stacky Benjamin Show wherever you get your podcasts.
The greatest money show on earth, now part of the Gamut Podcast Network.
Santana, Oneness Tour 2026. The power, the energy. Come celebrate your favorite hits from Woodstock to Supernatural and beyond. With very special guest, the Doobie Brothers. Friday, August 14th, Mortgage Matchup Center. On sale now at livenation.com. Santana and Doobie Brothers, Oneness Tour 2026.
Get your to-do list ready. The Home Depot just opened a new store in Buckeye, Arizona. So whether you're making simple upgrades or full-on renovations, the Home Depot has you covered with great prices on tools, materials, rentals, and more. Plus, order online or with the Home Depot app, and you can get it all delivered to your door fast and free. Visit us at 20410 West Roosevelt Street in Buckeye and start your project today with the Home Depot.
The Mazda More to Move You sales event is going on now at Mark Mazda. Right now, receive 0% APR for up to 36 months on some of Mazda's most popular models, like the all-new 2026 Mazda CX-5.
The name to remember? Mark Mazda, Mark Mazda.
When your auto insurance shows up, every call, every claim, every day, that's a win. J.D. Power has ranked AAA #1 for auto insurance customer satisfaction in the Southwest 2 years running. Get a quote at AAA.com/quote. Visit JDPower.com for details.
Plumbing problems never knock. They kick down the door at the worst possible time. A burst pipe turning your kitchen into a water park? A clogged drain bubbling like a swamp monster? Don't panic. Gettle wrestles plumbing nightmares for a living. Our perfectionist plumbers handle it all with the precision of a surgeon and the enthusiasm of a game show host. From sewer line repairs to water filtration to tankless water heaters, your home sparkles like we've never even been there, except your plumbing actually works now. Gettle, Goettl, will fix your pipes, but it's hard to spell.
Win a Volkswagen van or thousands in cash at the $250,000 Electric Summer of Love. This July, there are drawings for $1,000 every Friday at West Valley and Sunday at White Tanks. On July 26th and 31st, hourly prizes jump to $2,000, and one groovy winner takes home a VW van or $30,000 cash at each location. Desert Diamond Casino. Live the diamond life.
An enterprise of the Donna Autumn Nation.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP.
It's the Lunch Break with Chris Schubert.
The Arizona Diamondbacks went into L.A. and they swept the Los Angeles Dodgers. Dodger Stadium in general has been a pretty friendly place to the Diamondbacks. I know what your gut says about this team. You still, overall, are going to have to see a little bit more before you move off of your stance of this team being a seller at the deadline. We're going to reevaluate, right? I think it would be foolish for the Diamondbacks right now in this moment to start selling.
Live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060 and streamed live at KDUS 1060 on YouTube.
Back here on the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060, Chris Schubert with you. What's everybody's plan for the weekend? Are you just... I know what I'm doing. I'm managing my whole weekend around when the Diamondbacks play, making sure that I'm able to sit down and watch them play over the weekend against the Cardinals. But the rain, the monsoons are certainly here. Was drizzling a little bit down by my house last night. It rained earlier this week. I think the current forecast calls for some more rain over the weekend, so some indoor activities, I think. Cleaning up around the house feels like what's going to be on the docket for me. So cleaning up around the house and some baseball. Doesn't look like I'm going to be getting out doing a whole lot over the weekend. Again, the weather changes all the time here, but I'm just looking out the windows here in the KDUS control room where I'm doing the show today, and it does not look like it's going to be a dry day here. It's humid, too. Reminds me of being back on the East Coast. Reminds me of summers in New York where it's just gross and humid. Don't like that. That's why I live here, because it's dry. I don't have the humidity. But, yeah, I think it's going to be a pretty quiet indoor weekend for me, considering the forecast. The Phoenix Suns pulled all their stars in the final Summer League games. We didn't see any of the stars. Kaman Malawach, Koa Pete, Rasheer Fleming. And they lost their last game. I think they're going to play in a consolation bracket But this is really our chance to kind of discuss Summer League at large. And I don't know how you look at Summer League for the individual players and say it's anything but a win for this team in a very key area. Because it feels like they're getting the player development side of this right? It feels like the work that they did behind the scenes after chasing stars for the couple years at the beginning of Matt Ishbia's tenure to pivoting to a slow burn, the slow-cooked meal, player development, bringing players along. You're starting to see the fruits of that labor a little bit. And you get excited when you see Kaman Malawach dominate the way that he did, when you see Koa Pete play the way that he did, because these are players that this group, this new power trio of Ishbia, of Brian Gregory, of Jordan Ott, they're developing these players. They're identifying these players. And they're seemingly batting close to 1,000 in terms of identifying players that are just natural fits for what they want to do. Now, there's still a long road here. There's still a lengthy journey. But you feel good about the early returns. You feel like this team is on the right track. Now, what allows you to graduate to them being a great team in terms of player development is Rasheer Fleming becomes a serious rotational piece or a starter. Koa Pete becomes a serious rotational piece or a starter. You turn some of these late picks, right, since you're not picking in the top 10, you turn some of these late picks into key players that you don't have to go out and acquire that skill set in free agency and spend a bunch of money. You don't have to go out and do that because you're drafting and developing those players on your own. Kaman Malawach develops into a starting caliber center. That's the graduation point. Because that goes from, we think you're on the right track, you're showing us signs that you're on the right track, to clear examples of this being just a well thought out, well put together player development process. And I've been on record with this. This is their way out of this mess. Their way out of this isn't spending a ton of money. Their way out of this isn't trading for stars, at least not in the short term. And by short term, I mean over the next 3 seasons. Their way out of this is to turn the Rasheer Flemings, the Koa Petes, the Kaman Malawaches, the future draft picks that they're going to have in the coming years into rosterable, rotational pieces at best. At worst. Guys that you can give serious minutes to. That's the ticket out of this. That is the golden ticket out of this mess. That is how this team graduates from the purgatory that they may find themselves in right now. Kind of just in the middle. They're not good enough to be a title contender. They're not bad enough to blow it up and tank and do all that nonsense. They're firmly kind of in that middle class of the NBA. They want to graduate from that middle class. They want to graduate into the upper echelon of the Western Conference. This is the path. And it's not going to be easy. It's not going to happen right away. It is not going to be linear in terms of the progression. Sometimes it's going to be 2 steps forwards, 1 step back. You're going to have good days. You're going to have bad days. It is going to be an up and down process. But if long term, this looks like your 401k portfolio, where it's over the long term going up and up and up, and you suffer those small blips along the journey that feel like big deals, but big picture, they're not. That's how this team turns this around. That's how this team graduates from the middle class that they find themselves in the NBA right now. Is turning Koa Pete into a key player for them, turning Rasheer Fleming into a key player for them, turning Kaman Malawach into a starter. I mean, you do those 3 things. I mean, you're basically batting 1,000 in terms of turning draft picks into very important players for you, key players for you. And the more they do that and the less money they have to spend on free agency means that they can start entertaining that idea of, okay, maybe we do have the financial might to go get a star to pair alongside Devin Booker. And if that times up with Bradley Beal's money coming off the books, you can time this perfectly. You can time it perfectly. So I don't know how you look at Summer League and you don't view it as a just resounding success for this team. Because you feel good about the future, right? That's what Summer League's supposed to do. It's supposed to give you a glimpse into the future, and you're supposed to feel good about it. And the Suns have done that, and we feel great about it. Still a lot of work to be done. Summer League success does not automatically guarantee NBA success, but you feel good. You see the future. You see a promise. You see what this team could become long-term, and that is what Summer League is supposed to be about. So an A+ for the Phoenix Suns and what they've done in Summer League, or what they did in Summer League. 480-864-1060 is the phone number for you to join us here today on the program. We've also got you over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream. Our guy John over there says, develop into 6 through 9 off the bench. Yeah, that's what you're looking for. You're looking to continuously hit in the draft for guys that can be spots 6 through 9. Because if you develop a bunch of those guys, you're not going to have room for all of them, and they become incredibly valuable. And all of a sudden, you have way more tradable assets than you did 5 minutes ago. So that's what it's about. And that's what it's going to continue to be about for the next couple of seasons for this team. When we come back, we'll wrap up hour number 1 here of the lunch break. I told you that I wanted to give the bullish and bearish cases for the Diamondbacks in the wild card race. Let's start with the bullish case next. The lunch break, KDUS AM 1060.
The Dan Patrick Show.
Home Run Derby was fun last night, and I don't know if the NBA will pick up on this. The winner got $1 million last night. That's more than Jordan Walker makes this year. I think he makes $790. Slam dunk contest. The winner, $105,000. If you're the NBA and you say, we're going to put out $1 million for the slam dunk contest, you're going to get some players that you've heard of. Because as it is now, this is a meaningless moment. But man, I'd up the ante just a little bit.
Weekdays, 6 to 9 a.m.
It started as a smell, a weird one, a funky, musty smell like, I don't know, maybe your gym shoes, had a baby with hot queso. And let me guess, cleaning it yourself, big mistake, and you left residue behind and it became a dirt magnet. Hey, it's Audrey from KSLX, and it's like putting chapstick on a cactus just wrong. And in the Valley, we don't have time for sticky carpets and weird smells. We're just too busy surviving the 202 loop. Zero Res can handle it all. Carpets, tile, rugs, upholstery. Basically, every surface in your home can be zero resified. So it's time to call My Cleaning Pros. It's the perfect time of year to get your air ducts clean as well. And an air duct cleaning will help you alleviate your allergies and asthma, and you're going to enjoy less dust, lower energy bills, and your home is going to stay cleaner longer. Zero Res has a 4.9 rating on Google with over 25,000 reviews. This month, you can get 3 rooms and a free hallway for $109. Schedule your appointment at ZeroResPhoenix.com or call 480-507-2419 and ask for the KSLX special. Spell it backward or forward, it spells the same, Zero Res.
A night you don't want to miss. Avenged Sevenfold. Good Charlotte. North America Tour 2026. Talking Stick Resort Amphitheater. August 27th. Avenged Sevenfold. Good Charlotte. An epic night of music. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Don't miss Avenged Sevenfold and Good Charlotte, part of the America First Credit Union Concert Series.
Your local Arizona Lottery retailer is full of new and exciting possibilities because Draw Games just got an upgrade with more prizes, more drawings, and more chances to win. Your favorite draw games like Powerball, The Pick, and Pick 3 are now better than ever. Games start at just $1, so you don't have to pick one. You can play all 4 new and improved draw games today, including the brand new Pick 4 game. Play today at a retailer near you. Arizona Lottery. Love the play.
The Jim Rome Show.
Conor McGregor v. Max Holloway. The quote, fight was over before it even started, with McGregor seemingly shredding his knee after running out and attempting to throw a single ill-advised kick. Maybe he knew he couldn't last with Max Holloway. Maybe he was looking to end it as spectacularly as possible. I don't know.
The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday, here on KDUS AM 1060.
Back to wrap up hour number 1 here of the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060. Chris Schubert with you. We got weekend winners coming up in hour number 2 of the program. We're going to try to figure out if Jeremiah Love needs to win the Offensive Rookie of the Year next year. And then we'll get you ready for the weekend. We'll tell you what's on your television screen this weekend. A lot to do. Both baseball, there's some soccer going on, a lot of stuff, and we'll do our normal leftovers as well. But before we do that, I said that I wanted to, in the open, go through the bear case and the bull case for the Diamondbacks in this wild card race. And for those of you unfamiliar with these stock terms, the bull is the market running crazy in a good way, positive, just going up and up and up. That is the positive case for the Diamondbacks. And the bear case is things kind of pulling back a little bit, right? So what is the bull case for the Diamondbacks in this wild card race? And I want to do this through the lens of the teams around the Diamondbacks. I don't want to focus on the Diamondbacks themselves. I want to talk about Miami. I want to talk about St. Louis, and I want to talk about Pittsburgh. I want to focus on how those teams can slip up to open the door for the Diamondbacks. And let's start with the team directly in front of the Arizona Diamondbacks. The team that is just a half game in front of the Diamondbacks, and that is the Pittsburgh Pirates, who are playing good baseball. They've won 3 in a row, 7-3 in their last 10. The thing I would worry about with the Pittsburgh Pirates is, do they have enough offense? Because they've got the pitching. They've got really good pitching. They've got Paul Skeens. They've got Mitch Keller. They've got Jared Jones, Braxton Ashcraft, Bubba Chandler. I mean, they've got a really good rotation. They'll probably add a reliever at the deadline. But you look offensively. They're starting first baseman on the injured list. O'Neal Cruz on the injured list. Is Brandon Lowe? I think it's Brandon Lau, Nathaniel Lowe. I always get those two mixed up. Nick Gonzalez, Brian Reynolds, Ryan O'Hearn. Is that enough offense for this team? And here's the other question. Let's say it's not. Let's say they're smart. Let's say they identify. Let's say they acknowledge, you know what, we need to do more. Do we trust the Pittsburgh Pirates to have the resources to go out and pay the premium that it's going to take to get a bat, to get that relief arm, to maybe add a depth starter if they want to just add one additional arm? Because it's easy to say what you need. It's easy to look at the team and say, yeah, they could probably use another bat. They could probably use a reliever or two. But it's the Pittsburgh Pirates. It's a team that is, unfortunately, the poster child in this sport for a lack of spending. They are the poster child for this whole salary cap conversation because they're the team that people point to if they can't compete because they can't spend the way the Dodgers spend. Now, forgetting that they don't spend really at all anyway. And so the bull case for the Diamondbacks is, are the Pirates just going to have to make do with what they have? And with what they have, they're 2 games out of a spot right now. What they have isn't good enough to be a top 3 wild card team. Now let's talk about the St. Louis Cardinals. A team that maybe is starting to show the signs of not being as good as they were in the first half. Because remember, the St. Louis Cardinals are not supposed to be this good. They're not supposed to be 5 games above 500. They're not supposed to be 1 game out of the 3rd and final wild card spot. They were projected to finish last in that division. Pirates were supposed to finish in front of them. The Reds were supposed to finish in front of them. I mean, they were not supposed to be the 3rd best team in that division. But they are. They are the 3rd best team in that division. But they're 4-6 in their last 10. They're only 500 at home this season. They may be starting to show signs of running out of steam. Got off to a really hot start. Surprised everybody in the first half of the season. Can that last? Can they do it for 162? Anybody can be good for 60, 70, 80, 90 games. You make the playoffs after 162 games, it's pretty clear that you deserve it, right? There's very rarely a team that is a fluke that gets into the playoffs. If you get in over 162, you were one of the 6 best teams in the National League or in the American League, right? I mean, you just are. You can't fake your way to a decent enough record to be a playoff team. And I know with expanded playoffs, we get some teams in there that aren't really good record-wise, but they're good enough. They didn't fail their way into the playoffs. They just didn't. So can this Cardinals team do it for the rest of July, for August, for September? You're kind of catching them at a good time if you're the Diamondbacks, playing them 4 times in your next 7 games. They're not supposed to be 5 games above 500. They're not supposed to be this good. So is what they did in the first half reality? Did everybody miss the mark on their expectations, their projections for this Cardinal team? Or is that stretch that brings them closer to reality still in front of them? Is that still on the horizon with 2.5 months of the baseball season to go? Then the third team in front of the Diamondbacks for the third and final playoff spot, the Miami Marlins. Team that's 7 games above 500. Team that has lost 3 in a row, just got swept by the Guardians. I look at this team and I wonder, do they have enough pitching? I wonder if their approach with the bats is going to be able to win them enough games. I mean, they got a bunch of guys. Do you know any of these guys? Do you know Joe Mack? Do you know Liam Hicks? Kyle Stowers at first, Xavier Edwards at second, Javier Sanoja at third, Otto Lopez at short, their outfield. Griffin Conine, Jacob Marcy. Owen Cassie's on the injured list, but he's out there. Do you know any of those guys? None of those are household names. None of those are guys with experience of being in a playoff spot and needing to play tough series and win tough games down the stretch. They've got a Yuri Perez. They've got Sandy Alcantara. They've got Max Meyer. They got a really good 1-2-3. I worry about the back part of their bullpen. Worry about the back part of their rotation. And again, the same thing that we said about the Pirates, I think can be said about the Marlins. How aggressive are they actually going to be? Because you got a bunch of teams that are going to buy. Everybody that's in the race. Chicago's going to buy. Philadelphia's going to buy. Cardinals are going to make phone calls. Pittsburgh's going to make phone calls if they're still in it. So Miami's going to have to make phone calls as well. Are they going to, just like we said about the Pirates, are they going to be able to pony up what it's going to take and take on the money that it's going to take to improve this team, to get that veteran bat, to get that veteran bullpen arm? Do they have an appetite to take on that kind of money? You got 2 teams in front of the Diamondbacks that are small market teams that don't spend a lot. So how aggressive can they be? Can they be aggressive enough to run away with a spot? I don't think so. And then you've got a Cardinals team whose standard is they're usually always in the mix. They're usually always hovering around a playoff spot. This year was not supposed to be the case. They weren't supposed to be where they're at right now. So will they hit the wall? Have they played basically as perfect as they can play through the first half? And there isn't another level for them. This is where they top out. Those are the questions I have about the 3 teams in front of the Arizona Diamondbacks. Now, I'm going to, in hour number 2 of the program, flip this entire conversation on its head and tell you why all 3 of those teams are better than the Diamondbacks and are going to stay in front of the Diamondbacks and are going to keep the Diamondbacks from being able to be in this race. But that's the bullish case for the Diamondbacks to chase these teams down. And it's the bearish case for all 3 of these teams. In hour number 2 of the program, we're going to flip it. We're going to give you the bearish case for the Diamondbacks and why these 3 fan bases should be over the moon with where they stand. Because I do think you can look at it both ways. So that is the case for why the Diamondbacks can pass Pittsburgh, can pass the Cardinals, can pass the Marlins. Also helps that in the next couple of weeks, you play 2 of those teams that are directly in front of you, and you can just pass them on your own. Not a bad thing to have in your back pocket. Boy, I can't wait for the second half of the season to start tonight for the Arizona Diamondbacks, and they play one of those teams directly in front of them. Hour number 1 of the program in the books. We've got weekend winners. We've got the complete inverse of this conversation, but we'll start with the little Cardinals and Jeremiah Love. We'll do it next. The lunch break, KDUS AM 1060.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
This is Michael with Restore My Civil Rights. As America celebrates 250 years of freedom, we honor those who fought to secure and defend it. Because freedom is not something to be taken for granted, Restore My Civil Rights assists eligible men and women in dismissing historical criminal convictions and restoring their civil rights and gun rights. To book a free consultation today, call 855-GUN-RIGHTS or visit RestoreMyCivilRights.com. That's RestoreMyCivilRights.com. Because freedom worth having is freedom worth fighting for.
My Chemical Romance, The Black Parade 2026. Live at Chase Field, September 6th, 2026. With special guest, Jimmy Eat World. Get tickets now at livenation.com. For more, visit mychemicalromance.com.
The Lovebird Lowdown with Tom and Tawny.
You know, flying's overrated.
Bold statement for a bird.
Constant flapping, wind in your face. Much rather be in a Toyota.
Hey, you're right. Smooth ride, comfortable, quiet.
Just cruising along.
20 people dream of flying.
Give it a week.
Bird brains.
Right now, get 5.99% financing for 60 months on our most popular models, including Camry, Corolla, RAV4, and 4Runner. Or get low 3.99% financing for up to 60 months on Tacoma. With great deals like these, now's the perfect time to visit your Valley Toyota dealer or valleytoyotadealers.com. Toyota, let's go places. 5.99% with $19.33 per thousand borrowed for 60 months. 3.99% with $18.41 per thousand borrowed for 60 months. Offers end 8/3/26 and exclude TRD Pro and Trail Hunter models. See dealer for details.
With a Global Credit Card, you earn reward points for every purchase. Use your rewards at checkout at many of your favorite stores. Or use points instead of cash when you shop online. You can even use them to book a flight up to 3 days in advance. New York, Vegas, Albuquerque. From groceries to getaways, redeem your way. Apply for your Global Credit Card now at globalcu.org. Global Credit Union, your world of financial possibilities.
During the Kia Summer Sticker Sales Event at Mark Kia, receive 0% APR for up to 72 months on the 2025 Kia EV6, plus $3,500 dealer bonus cash.
The name to remember, Mark Kia, Mark Kia.
The KDUS AM 1060 app is brought to you by Law Bear Auto Accident Attorneys. Hurry to lawbear.com.
That's lawbear.com. The bear has your back.
Hour number 2 of the lunch break right here. KDUS AM 1060. Streaming on the free KDUS AM 1060 app. And you can watch us over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream. I want to jump in to football and Jeremiah Love and the Rookie of the Year, but I do want to close the loop on what I thought was a really good question asked by Code over on our YouTube channel. He said, do we have a remaining strength of schedule for these teams, Arizona included, just out of curiosity? And I did pull it up during the break. The easiest strength of schedule in the National League belongs to the Washington Nationals. Their remaining strength of schedule is a 494, so below 500. The Diamondbacks are at 497, so their combined strength of schedule is below 500. The Cardinals are at 499. And then I'm trying to look for Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh has the 7th hardest schedule remaining at 509. Miami with the 8th hardest schedule. So if you want to add that to your reasons to be bullish for the Diamondbacks, Pittsburgh and Miami, 2 of the teams in front of them, have harder schedules. In fact, all 3 teams in front of the Diamondbacks have harder schedules. Not by much in the case of St. Louis, but harder schedules are harder schedules. So Diamondbacks 18th hardest schedule the rest of the way. Cardinals 16th, Miami 8th, Pittsburgh 7th. So And then you got Chicago and Philadelphia, the teams that are holding the top 2 wildcard spots, with the 3rd and 4th hardest schedules remaining. So everybody in front of the Diamondbacks in this wildcard race has a harder schedule than they do as things stand here today. So something else that you can file away and potentially get excited about. We'll do more baseball here in just a little bit. Jeremiah Love, the number 3 overall pick. Or in the case of this program,
number 3rd
overall pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, a player that we are over the moon about, I think, in terms of our excitement level of what he can bring to this team. Maybe didn't necessarily love the pick itself from a value perspective, but excited about what he could be. About what he could provide, the Jahmyr Gibbs comps that are out there for Jeremiah Love. And so that got me thinking, because so much was made about where he was taken, who he was taken by, the positional value. Does it require Jeremiah Love to go out there and just be so dominant that he wins Offensive Rookie of the Year and he just shuts everybody up? Is anything short of a Rookie of the Year campaign for Jeremiah Love going to be deemed a failure by the national media and perhaps maybe by some of us here in the local media? Is it going to be viewed as a waste of a pick if he's not dominant? If he's not winning the award or a really close number 2 because, a wide receiver goes off or Fernando Mendoza just comes in as the starter in Vegas and just is amazing. Is anything short of what I just outlined going to be acceptable? Because the knock on taking Jeremiah Love where you took him when you're the Cardinals is, are you going to be competitive during this rookie window with Jeremiah Love? Because when you give him the second contract, is he going to still be the player that he was during his rookie campaign or his rookie contract, those first 3+ seasons? Are you going to match up your success with his success? And if he doesn't have that success early, then it's going to even doubly hurt because you drafted a player in a spot where you're expecting a blue chip prospect. And if he's not that blue chip prospect, then that's probably going to hurt your ability even more to get back on track competitively. Now, I don't want to say it's award or bust because that feels a little unfair because he can have an outstanding season and the voters just don't give him the award. But I certainly think that the bar should be he needs to be in the conversation. It needs to be he's had a good enough year to be the Rookie of the Year, right? Because sometimes guys just have incredible years. And, the AL MVP is going to go to Aaron Judge. But Bobby Witt Jr. the other year had a great year. And any other year, he would have won MVP, right? That was the talking point, right? Any other year, Bobby Witt would be the MVP. In the National League, any other year but the year Shohei Ohtani is pitching and hitting, you have good enough numbers to win the MVP. That, to me, is worst-case scenario for Jeremiah Love of how we need to be talking about him at the end of the season. He may not win the award, but it needs to be somebody had such a great year that any other year Jeremiah Love would have been the Offensive Rookie of the Year. But this guy was just incredible. Fernando Mendoza was incredible. And so we can't give the award to Jeremiah Love. If Love is a non-factor, if Love isn't in the conversation, then what are we doing here? Right? Well, what did the Cardinals do with this pick? Did they identify the wrong player? Did they get the coaching wrong? What happened to where you wasted one of the prime years of Jeremiah Love, one of the key years of having him on your roster because you're paying him a lot of money. You're paying him a lot more guaranteed money than any other running back in the sport. So you're kind of hoping that he hits the ground running and he's a superstar. And so he needs to be really, really, really good. or else you're going to continue to be mocked. John says he's the third pick, so he should be top 3 in voting. I don't know how scientific that is.
Number 3rd.
But I don't hate it. That's not very mathematical of us, but I appreciate the thought of he should at least be in the conversation. It shouldn't be a case where there's 4 or 5 guys in front of him and he's an afterthought. He doesn't even come up in the conversation. That, to me, would spell disaster because you already bucked the trend by taking a running back where you took him when you were at this spot in your franchise's process, rebuild, however you want to describe it. And so if you can't even get good production out of the superstar player that you thought you drafted,
number 3rd,
then it feels like you got to reset at GM, which means you might have to reset with this roster, which means you're just going to waste, even if Jeremiah Love does, pop off in year 2, put it together in year 2 or year 3, it's going to be a waste. You're not going to see the fruits of that labor. Your team's not going to be relevant when he's relevant. So if you're going to justify all of this, if you're going to justify taking him instead of taking an edge rusher, if you're going to justify taking him inside the top 4, paying him more guaranteed money than anybody else at the position, if you're going to justify all of that, boy, I feel like we got to see it right away, and that puts pressure on him, but it also puts pressure on Mike LaFleur. Coach says the worry intensifies when you have a recent example of a team taking an RB that high when an offense is not ready for it. Ashton Genty and the Raiders. Sure, there's plenty of examples of it. I mean, the Giants took Saquon Barkley, and Saquon Barkley was really good for them. Did they really maximize Saquon Barkley? I mean, I guess it kept them somewhat relevant, but that's the fear. That's the risk you run, right? The risk you run is they're great and you're not. But I'll tell you what scares me more than that? They're not great and you're not great. Because then that tells me you got all of it wrong. You got the process wrong. You got the coach hire wrong. You got the GM wrong. If Jeremiah Love is great and the team isn't, I can at least give the GM credit that he took a risk, he understood the risk, and he picked a really darn good player, right? It's worse if it all is a disaster. Some of it, at least being positive, is a good thing. If it's all a mess, if it's all a disaster, if it's all a nightmare, where do you go other than completely hitting the reset button? And then what does that mean for Jeremiah Love? This is, by the way, all of this conversation that we're having right now is why I wouldn't have made the pick. It's why, despite loving the player, I just didn't think you needed to invite all of this into your organization and invite all of this pressure. But, man, I'll tell you this. In listening to Jeremiah Love, he feels ready for the moment. He feels ready for it. He feels like he wants to shock the world. He wants to surprise everybody. He wants to justify the Cardinals taking him number 3 overall. And I actually believe he can do it. I actually believe he has the talent to do it. But, yeah, it's a lot of pressure. And it does feel like it needs to be a memorable season to avoid being dunked on. It needs to be a memorable season to avoid it being a complete disaster for this organization with their GM and their head coach. 480-864-1060 is the phone number for you to join us here today on the program. We've also got you over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream. Another reason why I'm excited for next week. We'll have a big series to break down for the Diamondbacks, yes, but training camp starts next week. So we'll get to see Jeremiah Love. We'll get to hear from Jeremiah Love. We'll get to hear from Mike LaFleur. We'll be gearing up for actual meaningful football where Jeremiah Love can hopefully have an impact. And I'm hoping that Jeremiah Love gets to be one of the main storylines in a positive way when training camp starts next week, where he can be the focus, where this offense, in a positive light, can be the focus. Because it should be. We should be getting excited about watching Jeremiah Love play for this team. It's okay to think that it was a bad pick value-wise, but to be excited about the player and be excited about what he can provide. I'm excited about what he can be for this team. Because if he is what the scouting reports said he could be, what all the draft experts said he could be, if he can be that, going to be fun to watch. And again, I want fun. Give me fun because I don't think the results are going to be there. So give me as much fun as humanly possible. And Jeremiah Love might be the person that can provide that fun. When we come back, we did the bullish case to close up hour number 1. Let's give you the bearish case as to why the Diamondbacks won't be in this wild card race. That's next, the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060.
Ready to tackle each morning with the best sports information coming at you?
I'm going to take a logical approach.
Get that weekday mornings on KDUS AM 1060 from 6 to 9 a.m. with the Dan Patrick Show. Dan Patrick, the Danettes, sports icons, sports legends, celebrities, poll questions. The Dan Patrick Show has it all.
It's a crapshoot.
Be sure to lock your dials to AM 1060 or 100.7 HD2 from 6 to 9 a.m. Mornings just got better.
This story is about us.
Car wreck, truck accident, motorcycle crash? Law Bear Auto Accident attorneys will fight ferociously to recover every dollar you deserve. Insurance companies fear the bear. Hurry to lawbear.com. That's lawbear.com. The bear has your back.
Weezer, The Gathering, live in Phoenix. Playing at Mortgage Matchup Center October 20th with special guests, The Shins and Silver Sun Pickups. Get tickets now at livenation.com. 3 incredible bands for one night only. Weezer, The Shins, and Silver Sun Pickups. For more, visit Weezer.com.
If you're thinking you have low T, well, then it's time to start for free. For a limited time, get prescription testosterone therapy with no startup fee only at Red Mountain Weight Loss. Hey, just because you're getting older doesn't mean you have to feel older. Prescription testosterone restores your get up and go, so you'll feel like you're 20 again. You'll gain more muscle with less effort in the gym and lose that dad bod for good. You'll also think better, sleep better, and your love life will be better. Look, don't be fooled. Nothing boosts testosterone like actual testosterone. So skip the gimmicks and start enjoying life with prescription testosterone. It's a game changer. Prices start as low as $129 per month. So don't wait. Book your video appointment today and they'll waive the startup fee only at Red Mountain Weight Loss. Go to redmountainweightloss.com or dial pound 250 on your phone, keyword Red Mountain. Red Mountain Weight Loss. Real testosterone. Real doctors. Real results.
For 25 years, Primavera has helped thousands of Arizona students succeed with an accredited world-class education, tuition-free and from home. Don't wait. Enroll today at chooseprimavera.com. That's chooseprimavera.com.
I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. Circumventing the league salary cap has been a big no-no in professional sports. The penalties can be severe. So if a team is going to take that kind of risk, it better be worth it. You can at least understand the temptation if the target is an MVP caliber superstar. Doesn't make it right, but the upside is obvious. That's why rumors surrounding the Bucks and Gary Trent Jr. are puzzling. Now, if there's any truth to the speculation, Milwaukee would be taking an enormous risk for a player who's a career role player. To do all of this to land a player like Trent, jeopardizing future flexibility, draft assets, or even face league discipline for a role player is difficult to justify. Championship contenders take risks, but the best gambles are the ones where the payoff can truly change your future. If you're going to flirt with crossing the line, at least do it for a superstar. And make sure you don't get caught. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. Identity theft can cost more than you think. Drained investment accounts, stolen tax returns, lost wages, expenses for lawyers, it's a lot. That's why LifeLock is backed by the $1 Million Protection Package. Covers up to $3 million for the most comprehensive plan. So if your money is stolen due to identity theft, they've got you covered. If you have personal expenses while resolving identity theft, like paying for travel or extra childcare, LifeLock has your back. Need coverage for lost wages because work had to take a back seat throughout all of this? You guessed it, LifeLock has your back. Plus, there's coverage if you need to pay for fees for lawyers, experts to resolve your case. Don't face the burden of identity theft alone. Protect your future and finances with LifeLock. Join today. Save up to 30% on your first year. Promo code Patrick. 1-800-LifeLock or LifeLock.com. Promo code Patrick. Save up to 30%. Terms apply.
It's the lunch break with Chris Schubert.
The Arizona Diamondbacks went into L.A. and they swept the Los Angeles Dodgers. Dodger Stadium in general has been a pretty friendly place to the Diamondbacks. I know what your gut says about this team. You still, overall, are going to have to see a little bit more before you move off of your stance of this team being a seller at the deadline. We're going to reevaluate, right? I think it would be foolish for the Diamondbacks right now in this moment to start selling.
Live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060 and streamed live at KDUS 1060 on YouTube.
Back here on the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060. The free KDUS AM 1060 app. Do yourself a favor, download that thing so you can take us with you on the go wherever you may be. KDUS can be right there with you. So even if you're not in the car over the weekend, you want to listen to the NASCAR race, you can do so via the free KDUS AM 1060 app. Okay, so to close up hour number one, I shared with you the bullish case for the Diamondbacks. I outlined all the flaws with Pittsburgh, with the Cardinals, with the Marlins, right? I gave you all of the reasons why the Diamondbacks can pass those teams, the warts that those teams have, the lack of spending, the lack of offense, a Cardinals team that has vastly overplayed their expectations and projections thus far. So that's the case as to why the Diamondbacks, get your popcorn ready, settle in. It's going to be a long summer in a good way. That's the case I made at the end of hour number one. Well, now, here at hour number two, I want to flip it. I want to give you both sides of the coin. I want to tell you why the Diamondbacks aren't going to catch Pittsburgh. They aren't going to catch the Cardinals. They aren't going to catch the Marlins. And I want to start with Pittsburgh. They are the team directly in front. And this is how we started in hour number one, but also because I think they have the easiest claim as to why the Diamondbacks are not going to pass this team. Did you look at that rotation? Have you seen the Pirates rotation? Skeens, Ashcraft, Keller, Jones, Bubba Chandler. Everybody's going to be tripping over themselves to try and get starting pitching help. You know who doesn't need it? The Pittsburgh Pirates. Ashcraft, a 3.49 ERA. Paul Skeens, a 3.57 ERA. Bubba Chandler, an ERA, 4.77. Mitch Keller's got a 5.14 ERA, but he's been better than that in his career. I mean, you've got Jared Jones. He's got a 4.37 ERA in the 8 starts that he's made. Braxton Ashcraft has made 10 quality starts in the 19 starts that he's made. Paul Skeens, 9 quality starts out of 20. Mitch Keller, 9 quality starts out of 19. You've got 3 guys that basically 50% of the time or better, in the case of Ashcraft, deliver you a quality start. That's all you need. 3 starters, man. That gets it done. And so while maybe they add an option to the back end of their rotation, maybe you feel really good about the talent that this team has. I mean, Bubba Chandler, even though he's got a 4.77 ERA, he's talented. He's got to try to put it all together. They've got raw stuff. They've got 3 starters that I think you can roll into a playoff series with. They've got one of the best pitchers in the sport in Paul Skeens, who at any moment's notice can turn on Cy Young form and just be electric, be elite. And pitching wins, man. Pitching wins. Yeah, you might not be able to score, but if you can pitch, you're going to be in every game you play, even when your offense is struggling. If you can't pitch, you need your offense to be on. You can't survive that. If your pitching is on, man, you can survive any lull offensively. You can be in every single game. That's a huge thing to have. And the Pirates have it. And the Pirates have it in terms of depth, but they also have it in terms of they've got an ace, man. They've got Paul Skeens. That's a difference maker. How about the Cardinals, who have, I'd argue, some of the best young talent in the game? J.J. Weatherholt, who they just gave a brand new deal to. as a rookie. He's hitting .259. A 3.8 WAR season. How about the guy who just won the home run derby in Jordan Walker, mashing 22 home runs in the first half of the season, worth 3.8 WAR. They got 4 guys, double digits in home runs. Alec Burleson, Ivan Herrera as your veterans. Up the middle defensively. J.J. Weatherholt, Mason Wynn, they get to everything. They've got veterans like Nolan Gorman, Lars Nootbaar. Guys that have been there, done that before. They've got the young talent, as we mentioned, with Wynn and Weatherholt and Walker having a breakout campaign. They've got a nice mix of young and old. They've got a nice mix of young guys, young potential stars that are putting it together, having some breakout campaigns. But they also have got the veterans that are doing it as well. And again, the expectation in that market is to be always in the mix. So if there's any of the 3 teams that we're going to talk about here, between the Pirates, the Cardinals, and the Marlins, that will be super aggressive. If you had to pick a team out of that trio to be the most aggressive, I would tell you it will be the St. Louis Cardinals. Because the expectation in that city is that they don't lose. The expectation in that city is we make the postseason. We're good enough every single year to have a shot. Maybe we're not the best team, but we're certainly not the worst team, and we certainly have a shot. And so they're the team that's going to be the most aggressive in going out there and getting the help that this team needs. Adding a starter if they feel like that's the case. Adding an extra reliever if they feel like they need a reliever. Kind of like their offense quite a bit with Weatherholt and Wynn and Nootbaar and Walker and Nathan Church. I kind of like what they have offensively. But they are a team that will be aggressive and be the most aggressive. And then you have Miami, the final team, the one that's holding on to that third and final spot. And with Miami, I said this was a negative in hour number 1, that they have a bunch of guys that you don't know. Can they handle the moment? Another way to look at it, if you wanted to look at it pro-Miami, is they got a bunch of guys that make contact. They got a bunch of guys that put the ball in play. They play a different style of baseball. They play a very old school style. They bunt, they sacrifice, they move runners over. I don't know what their steal numbers are this year, but they just feel like a team that steals bases. Yeah, I mean, they've got 4 guys with double-digit steals. Esteury Ruiz has 20. Jacob Marcy's got 19. Otto Lopez with 17. Xavier Edwards with 13. They've got 101 stolen bases. Let's go down a little bit of a rabbit hole, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see where that stacks up. That's second in baseball behind the Washington Nationals. So they play the game differently. They know they don't have the top-end talent, the raw talent that some of these other teams have, so they do it in different ways, right? They steal. They draw walks. I mean, they're 6th in on-base percentage. Same can be said about Pittsburgh. They're 2nd in on-base percentage. So they sacrifice, they move runners over, they play small ball, they do whatever it takes to win. And so that kind of insulates them from an offensive lull where you lose all your power because all your power bats go cold. You don't have a lot of guys on base. They create base traffic. They've got somebody who, in a past life, Sandy Alcantara was a Cy Young caliber pitcher. Maybe isn't fully at that form, but is pretty darn good this year with a sub-4 ERA. Max Meyer has been really good. 9-1 with a 2.58 ERA. Yuri Perez with a sub-4 ERA. They've got a trio of pitchers that can get it done. So they've got the pitching. They play a style of ball that should be able to keep them from going through a rough patch or for a rough patch lasting longer than it normally does. And so you got 3 teams that, do it a little differently in the Cardinals and the Pirates and the Marlins. And that's the case for why the Diamondbacks aren't going to be able to catch them, because the Diamondbacks, they're boom and bust offensively. The Diamondbacks don't have the pitching that Miami and Pittsburgh has. Pittsburgh, it's got 3 starters with 2 other guys that, if they round into form, gives them a really solid 5. And the potential is there for them to do that. The Cardinals, they've got decent starting pitching. They've also got young talent up the middle. Miami, 3 really good starters at the front of their rotation. An offense that plays small ball, that does things differently. Diamondbacks a little boom or bust offensively. Diamondbacks don't have 3 starters that you can truly count on the way you can in Pittsburgh, the way you can in Miami. And I think you can even do it in St. Louis as well. That's what you're trying to overcome if you're the Diamondbacks, chasing down those 3 teams that have those strengths that we just outlined. 480-864-1060 is the phone number for you to join us here today on the program. Hopefully next week we have more definitiveness to this wild card race to know where the Diamondbacks stand. Hopefully we get that from over the weekend. When we come back, we hand out our weekend winners. I've got a bunch. I've heard from producer Evan. He's added a bunch. So we will give you all of those next. It's the lunch break. KDUS AM 1060.
The Dan Patrick Show.
Home Run Derby was fun last night, and I don't know if the NBA will pick up on this. The winner got $1 million last night. That's more than Jordan Walker makes this year. I think he makes $790. Slam dunk contest. The winner, $105,000. If you're the NBA and you say, we're going to put out $1 million for the slam dunk contest, you're going to get some players that you've heard of. Because as it is now, this is a meaningless moment. But man, I'd up the ante just a little bit.
Weekdays, 6 to 9 a.m.
Chicago Sticks, the Windy Cities Tour. Finally, 2 iconic bands together for the first time. September 1st, Mortgage Matchup Center. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Don't miss Chicago and Sticks. All the hits, your kind of tour.
When you hear
crunch,
whine, boing,
Alaskan AC will arrive to fix it in less than 24 hours from the first crunch,
whine, boing. No matter what kind of
crunch,
whine, or boing your AC is making.
we fix it on your schedule.
That's huge. We guarantee to be there in 24 hours or less, or the repair is free. We not only get there fast, we Polar Bear promise we'll get the job done right.
We believe you deserve fresh air free of humidity in every room of your home, and you should never hear crunch,
whine, boing.
If you do, call Alaskan AC, and we guarantee we'll be there in under 24 hours.
If we don't make it, your repair will be free. No matter how big the crunch,
boing,
or whine. Wait, I thought I was whine. You're crunch.
I'm crunch. You're boing.
I don't think I'm boing. Gary's more of a boing than me. William is crunch. Schedule now and tell us who boing is. Only at AlaskanAC.com.
Hi, I'm the VP of Play at Harrah's Auction Casino, and it's time to make your summer shine with Summer Play Fest. Now through Labor Day, live music, weekly winners, and one lucky guest takes home a brand new Jeep Rubicon. With Caesars Rewards, you could win your share of more than $700,000 in cash and prizes. Summer Play Fest at Harrah's Auction Casino. Play for all. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700 or 1-800-NEXT-STEP. Visit the Caesars Rewards Center for details.
Hi, I'm Tom Shane, third-generation owner at Shane Company. As a family jewelry business for almost 100 years, we are known for doing right by our customers. Our legacy of integrity depends on it. Here are 3 things we never do. We never cut corners. Our engagement rings are made to high-quality standards, and we stand behind them with our all-inclusive free lifetime warranty. We never buy diamonds without seeing them in person. We travel to the source, eliminate the middleman, and get first pick of the most beautiful stones. Then negotiate the price on your behalf. We never try to trick you on price. We don't mark up the rings just to mark them down and call it a sale. We offer true value from the start, so you get the best price every time. At Shane Company, we put you first because a friend always has your back. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
The Jim Rome Show.
Conor McGregor v. Max Holloway. The quote, fight was over before it even started, with McGregor seemingly shredding his knee after running out and attempting to throw a single ill-advised kick. Maybe he knew he couldn't last with Max Holloway. Maybe he was looking to end it as spectacularly as possible. I don't know.
The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday, here on KDUS AM 1060.
Back here on the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060, Chris Schubert with you. Thanks for hanging out with us here today on the show. Time to have some fun. I've got a text message from producer Evan, so we are all ready to go. I have our weekend winners. Now, producer Evan did not send me a NASCAR pick. Now, I think, and I'll allow the YouTube chat, because they're the ones that can give me the instant feedback here. I think we just give him Tyler Reddick, because that's what he usually takes. And I think I won't be criticized for doing that when he comes back on Monday, or at least if he criticizes me, I mean, we're gonna have it out on the first show back. He did not text me a NASCAR pick, but I think it's fair to just give him Tyler Reddick. So we're gonna do that. Here's what else producer Evan has, and then I'll get into mine. He is going with the Diamondbacks against the Cardinals, which I'm assuming is his way of saying that they're going to win the series. He's taking Argentina, which is, part of his draft. That's his last team left. So it's Spain, Argentina in the World Cup final. My number one pick versus, I don't think it was his number one pick, but he took them early. And then despite his golf picks, which reminded me that we should probably do that here during the weekend winners, he's taking Ludwig Åberg this weekend in the Open Championship. Now, before we get to mine, let's do a little bit of an update. And by the way, Åberg is 3 under, tied for 17th right now. So he has Tommy Fleetwood to win. Tommy Fleetwood is right now tied for 8th, 4 back of the lead, so that feels pretty good. He has Justin Rose, top 10. Now, when we did this yesterday, Justin Rose did not make the cut, so that's a loser. Wyndham Clark, he has a top 10 as well. Where's Wyndham? Wyndham, did he make the cut? Is he doing well? This is where I sometimes have to use the Control F on the keyboard. And yeah, we're just going to do it this way. Wyndham Clark tied for 98th, not going to make the cut as well. He's right next to Justin Rose. I missed his name. And he's got Victor Hovland in the top 10. Now, Hovland was doing well yesterday when I was looking. Victor Hovland. Oh, I don't see Hovland. We'll just do a quick little search for Victor. I don't see Hovland. We can do it this way. We'll type in Hovland. Hovland +4, tied 108, out. So Justin Rose top 10's a loser. Wyndham Clark top 10's a loser. Victor Hovland top 10's a loser. So all he's got is Tommy Fleetwood to win at +1,500, and then his Åberg pick for weekend winners, and he's 3 under, 5 back of the lead. So there you have the weekend winners there for producer Evan. All right, I've got a bunch. We'll start with the obligatory. I will take Kyle Larson despite some bad finishes his last 2 times out. Finished 34th each of his last 2 races. But before that, what a great stretch. 4th, 3rd, 5th, 4th in 4 consecutive races. So 4 straight top 5s. 5 top 5s in a 6-race stretch. Some bad races his last 2 times out. We had a 2nd place earlier in Kansas, and I'm hoping that this Sunday can be the time. He's got 11 top 10s in 20 races. His average start is 8.25. His average finish, though, is 16th, 15.9. So we got to do better than our 637 laps led without a win. We just got to get there. We've got 8 top 5s and 20 races. We got to get it over the finish line. Hopefully, this weekend can be the weekend for Kyle Larson. All right, so that's number one. We'll get that one out of the way. I had some stats to back it up. I, too, would like to have the Arizona Diamondbacks here over the weekend. So I'm going to join producer Evan in taking the Diamondbacks to win this series over the weekend. I'm really buying into the momentum that they found against the Dodgers, winning the last game against the Padres. They've won 4 in a row, feeling good. They're going to be ready for the moment, I think. They've got Merrill Kelly on the mound tonight. I like their chances tonight. They've got Erod going on Sunday. So if you win tonight, you feel really good about their ability to win this series. So I'm in. I'm in on a win tonight. I'm in on a win over the weekend, at least one. And I'm in on them winning this series and taking 2 of 3 from the Cardinals and really making a statement to start the second half of the year. Now, I'll go a step further because I'm also going to say Brendan Pfaadt is a weekend winner. I think he has a good start tomorrow. I think he continues this decent run since being called back up by the Diamondbacks. He's going to go on Saturday. He's going to pitch in the middle game of this series. But his last couple of times out, right? He goes 5 1/3, 1 earned run allowed against the Giants after spending some time down in the minors. He then goes 5 scoreless against the Padres, and then he goes 5 1/3 again against the Dodgers and allows just 2 earned runs. 3 earned runs allowed in his last 2 starts. He's got a 1.74 ERA in the month of July. So I'm in on him continuing this good form that we've seen in his last 3 starts. Again, since returning to the team, since returning to the rotation. 3 starts, 3 earned runs allowed, 5+ innings in all 3 of those starts. That's all he needs to be. If he is that pitcher every time out for the Diamondbacks, that's enough. That's enough for him to be a middle of the rotation arm for this team. So I'll buy Brandon this weekend as well. How about some World Cup plays for you? I will take... We've got a game, tomorrow? The 3rd place game? Give me France. This England team is so done. They are so done after losing the way that they did. All of the discourse about their manager and the tactics late after scoring the goal, playing super defensively. I think both of these teams would actually prefer to not participate in the 3rd place game. I think both teams would rather just go home. This isn't like one of those teams that makes a surprise run and then they fall short in the semis and then they go to the 3rd place and they still feel like they've got a ton to play for. I mean, both of these teams, it's win or bust. And so them playing a 3rd place match, I mean, they would so rather do anything else than play that game tomorrow, but they will. I think France wants to play it just a little bit more than England. I think England wants nothing to do with this game. So I will take France tomorrow in the 3rd place game. And then obviously you know where I'm going. I'm taking Spain to beat Argentina, to validate my trade, to beat producer Evan in the World Cup draft, to prove my trade correct, because if you win a championship, nothing else matters. Doesn't matter the cost to get there. You hoisted the trophy at the end of it. And I made sure to get the 1st overall pick so that I had this Spanish team. I've got them. I've got them for games like this. Although I will tell you, Argentina does feel like a team of destiny in some ways with the way that they have won these games, the way they beat Egypt, the way they came back against England, the game against Cape Verde. I mean, they've played in the knockout round 3 just classics. In the round of 32, in the quarterfinals, the round of 16 against Egypt, and then the semis against England, scoring in the 85th and 90+2 to punch their ticket to the final. So it's a scary draw. It's a scary team to go up against. Not necessarily in love with it. But I got here with Spain. I kind of have to ride them out. And I'm going to make a golf pick as well. Last minute. Going to throw a golf pick in there. Let me look at this a little bit. I don't like picking somebody that's up towards the front, so I'm not going to take Bryson even though he's 1 back. I'm not going to take... You know what? Give me John Rahm. Give me ASU's John Rahm. Spain to win and John Rahm, the Spaniard, to win the Open. Oh, yeah, I'm all in. I've already got Spain. Let's keep it going. So give me John Rahm to win the Open as my pick for weekend winner. So to recap, producer Evan has Ludwig Oberg, Argentina, and the D-backs to win the series against the Cardinals, and we've also given him Tyler Reddick. I've got Kyle Larson as always. I've got the Diamondbacks as well to win the weekend. Brendan Pfaadt, Spain, France, and I've added John Rahm to the list as well. So a lot for us to recap on Monday's show, and maybe the most important thing of them all, a lot for me to remember for us on Monday, because again, I'm not writing any of these down the way producer Evan is and having them, ready to go. So hopefully I keep this notepad on my phone. I don't accidentally delete the note over the weekend. 480-864-1060, the phone number for you to join us here today on the program. We've also got you the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream. When we come back, we'll get you ready for the weekend. We'll tell you everything that is going on. And then all the stories that we didn't get to here today on the show, we call them the leftovers. We get to them next. The lunch break, KDUS AM 1060.
Ready to tackle each morning with the best sports information coming at you?
I'm going to take a logical approach.
Get that weekday mornings on KDUS AM 1060 from 6 to 9 a.m. with the Dan Patrick Show. Dan Patrick, the Danettes, sports icons, sports legends, celebrities, poll questions. The Dan Patrick Show has it all.
It's a crapshoot.
Be sure to lock your dials to AM 1060 or 100.7 HD2 from 6 to 9 a.m. Mornings just got better.
This story is about us.
It started as a smell, a weird one, a funky, musty smell like, I don't know, maybe your gym shoes, had a baby with hot queso. And let me guess, cleaning it yourself, big mistake, and you left residue behind and it became a dirt magnet. Hey, it's Audrey from KSLX, and it's like putting chapstick on a cactus, just wrong. And in the Valley, we don't have time for sticky carpets and weird smells. We're just too busy surviving the 202 loop. Zero Res can handle it all. Carpets, tile, rugs, upholstery. Basically, every surface in your home can be zero resified. So it's time to call My Cleaning Pros. It's the perfect time of year to get your air ducts clean as well. And an air duct cleaning will help you alleviate your allergies and asthma, and you're going to enjoy less dust, lower energy bills, and your home is going to stay cleaner longer. Zero Res has a 4.9 rating on Google with over 25,000 reviews. This month, you can get 3 rooms and a free hallway for $109. Schedule your appointment at ZeroResPhoenix.com or call 480-507-2419 and ask for the KSLX special. Spell it backward or forward, it spells the same, Zero Res.
For over 50 years, they redefined rock. The spirit lives on.
Monday warrior, mean strike. Today's Tom Sawyer, mean pride.
Geddy Lee and Alex Lifeson celebrate 50 years of Rush 50-something tour, December 1st and 3rd, 2026, Desert Diamond Arena. Tickets are on sale now at rush.com. Legends don't stop. They evolve. Rush.
Living in the desert, SRP customers have some great questions, like, can I lower my electric bill? The answer is absolutely. A great place to start is making sure you're on a price plan that works best for you. We also have programs to help you use less energy and save money. Plus, as a not-for-profit, SRP already keeps rates as low as possible. SRP, delivering water, power, and answers since 1903. Find ways to save at srp.net.
It's the lunch break with Chris Schubert.
The Arizona Diamondbacks went into L.A. and they swept the Los Angeles Dodgers. Dodger Stadium in general has been a pretty friendly place to the Diamondbacks. I know what your gut says about this team. You still, overall, are going to have to see a little bit more before you move off of your stance of this team being a seller at the deadline. We're going to reevaluate, right? I think it would be foolish for the Diamondbacks right now in this moment to start selling.
Live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060 and streamed live at KDUS 1060 on YouTube.
Back here, wrapping up today, wrapping up the week here on the program. And by the way, just a shout out to all of you, especially those of you who hang out with us on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream. I know it was a different show this week. It's just me, kind of venting at you for 2 hours every day, but you were still here. You still showed up, and everybody that listens to us, no matter whether both producer Evan and I are here together, whether it's just one of us. When the two of us are together, the reason why producer Evan was hired as the producer of the show is because he and I get along so great. We knew each other outside of doing this show, and I thought he'd be a perfect fit for what I want this show to be. And so I prefer it when we're together, but I appreciate all of you hanging out with us, even though the show feels a little different. It sounds a little different. Some of the fun stuff that we do, we kind of lose because there's not both of us here to do a draft or to do Trivia Fridays or to, really do Take a Note the way we normally do it. So appreciate all of you kind of working through it with us as we all kind of rotate through taking our summer vacay to get ready for football season so that we're here ready to go for the entirety of football season. Okay, all the stories we didn't get to here today on the show. I do want to start with letting you know everything you got going on this weekend. Obviously, you don't need me to tell you, but I'll tell you anyway. Tonight, you got the Diamondbacks opening up 3-game series with the Cardinals. 6:40 first pitch tonight with Merrill Kelly on the mound. You got a pair of World Cup matches. Tomorrow, you have the third place match, 2 o'clock. France against England. That's going to be over on Fox. And then Sunday, 12 o'clock on Fox, you've got Spain against Argentina. Gave out my weekend winners. I like France in the game tomorrow. I like Spain in the game on Sunday. So that's really what you got. You've got Diamondbacks on Saturday as well. They play 1:10 on Saturday, so a middle-of-the-day game. And then you've got same thing, I believe, on Sunday. Yes, a 1:10 first pitch on Sunday. So some afternoon, some day baseball the next couple of days for the Diamondbacks in their series against the Cardinals. Okay, speaking of baseball, we'll start our leftovers with MLB restricting the use of iPad in the dugouts to prevent tablets from running artificial intelligence to help make decisions. Now, the tablets that are offered by the league to these teams have access to video and data, and there's also apparently a custom tab where teams could access other programs. Well, MLB made that custom tab inaccessible starting Wednesday night for the second half of the season. From Major League Baseball, quote, "In many cases, the custom tab had expanded the use of the dugout iPads beyond their original intended purpose to include recommendations regarding substitutions, pitch calling, and other in-game decisions traditionally made by players and coaches," end quote. So basically, you got teams using ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, whatever your go-to AI source is, to help them maybe determine which is the best move in game at that moment in time. Interesting that there were teams that were doing that. But they will be doing it no more, as Major League Baseball has removed that ability for these tablets. How about a trio of World Cup stories? Now, I don't know how many of you are paying attention to this, but because of some wildfires in Canada, the air quality in the Northeast, in Boston, in New York and New Jersey, it has been really bad. I've been having some conversations with some friends back east, and actually talking to a buddy this morning, right before we went on the air with the show, that was getting his yard work done because the air quality was only going to get worse and worse as the day went on, and the rain was supposed to come over the weekend to kind of, make the air quality better. Now, with that being said, the World Cup final reportedly is not under any threat to be moved or to be relocated or have to be rescheduled because of the air quality warnings in the area. So right now, FIFA not concerned because of the forecast. Looks like it's going to improve. Now, there was a game between Vancouver and Chicago Thursday night for MLS that was postponed due to air quality. The National Weather Service in New York told people on social media that, hey, the smoke still lingers. It's going to be less intense, but it may thicken again overnight. And the New York Office of Emergency Management said that the air quality was unhealthy for everyone. So we'll see what ultimately happens here. But as of the moment, they don't think that there's any concern about the final despite air quality issues. And it was really bad in Philly last night. The Phillies and the Mets kicked off the second half of the season, and there was really bad air quality, a lot of smoke. You could not see anything, but they continued on with the game and played it all the way through. The World Cup beer sales are going crazy. Fans downed a total of 290,000 stadium beers during the 6 matches in Philadelphia. You had bars in Boston reportedly needing emergency deliveries to keep their taps going. So FIFA, a boon to the beer industry. Even though beer consumption, according to the Brewers Association, not the Milwaukee Brewers, has been declining over the last decade. But the first 4 weeks of the tournaments saw beer sales in bars, restaurants, and stadiums rise 14% in host cities compared to the same period last year. Sales were up 4% nationally. So the World Cup delivering for the beer industry. Even though the prices were probably insane at all of these venues, people still buying the beer. Mauricio Pochettino says he's going to make his decision next week regarding his future as the head coach of the U.S. men's national team. He is reportedly in talks with U.S. Soccer to sign a deal that would extend through the 2030 World Cup. He did not say anything afterwards about a decision, but his deal ends after this tournament. But he told a Spanish radio station on Thursday that, quote, "We are evaluating it, looking at it. They have made an offer for me to continue, and we will see. Next week, we will make a decision." Now, he is also reportedly a target of some European clubs. The former manager at PSG, Chelsea, and Tottenham in the Premier League. But U.S. Soccer reportedly want him to return to oversee at least one more run. And I think that's where I'm at as well. Despite the lackluster performance in the round of 16 against Belgium, I'm not sure how much of that I would blame on Pochettino. I'm not sure I would say 20% of it is on Pochettino. I mean, the players just flat out didn't play in that game, right? They made silly mistakes that Pochettino can't prepare them for, right? I mean, just basic not watching the ball that you learn when you're, 6 or 7 years old playing the game for the first time. But they struggled with that. They made mental mistakes, and it's going to require him to get them in a better mental state for the next World Cup. If he chooses to stay on, it's going to require him to help them forget about this if he stays on, because he is going to have some of the same players the next go around. Now, there are some tactical things that he can change as well. And I think, especially at the back, defensively, he's going to have to change up the players that he selects, because that's where they were the weakest. But I think overall, the aggressiveness which we saw them play in the group stage, which we saw them play against Bosnia, that style of soccer is really enticing, and Pochettino is that guy that can deliver that style. So I'm hopeful that he comes back. But also understands that changes need to be made, that he understands that you can't just run it back and hope that you just get some better performance in the round of 16. There are some squad changes that need to be made. There are some tactical changes that can be made. But I like the idea of a top-tier caliber coach staying on board, overseeing another cycle, right? Not just overseeing another World Cup, but he would be here for a Copa America. He would be here for World Cup qualifying. He would be here for another entire cycle with this squad, creating those relationships with the players, getting on the same page with the players, building out the infrastructure to help U.S. soccer continue to thrive. So I think I'm on board with it, despite the sour taste in all of our mouths after the way things ended. I still think Pochettino is the best that the U.S. can do right now, and I think he is a coach that can help bring them to where they want to get to, which is breaking through past the round of 16, making a run to the quarters, making a run to the semis. And yeah, now he's got 4 years to build it out, to evaluate talent that wasn't on the team this go around that can be. Some players that, 16, 17, 18 that are going to be 20, 21, 22 by the time the next World Cup draws around, and can be ready to bring a little bit of a youth movement to this team. So disappointing ending, obviously. I mean, it was a disaster. It was an embarrassment, but I don't think a lot of that falls onto Pochettino. And so I think he should return as the manager. That's going to do it for us. We're done. We're out of here. Another great week of shows in the books. Thanks for hanging out with us on the show. Jim Rome is coming up next. Producer Evan.
Nice job.
We'll see you on Monday. Everybody, have a great rest of your Friday. Have a great weekend. See ya.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.